key it's in.
Oh,
You did okay last night.
Yeah, you did last night.
Come on, let me show you where it's at. Come on, let me show you where it's at. Come on, let me show you where it's at. The name of the place is I Like It Like That. You sing, Jake? Let's hear the train. Go.
So I just wanted to tell you a few stories about John that I remember.
He was a risk taker.
Laurie said, you know what? I've done everything that I ever wanted to do.
He was kind of quiet until you got him talking. And when you got him talking, he actually had quite a bit to say.
He was a character. He had a good sense of humor.
Yeah, John was always the type of guy that if you needed something done, he would help you.
As good time as he was having out in the woods there, he always wanted to make sure we were having just as good a time.
He was such a significant part of me. I can still hear the sounds of him whistling a tune while he worked, and his laughter.
I'm John's younger brother. He went first and paved the way for most of my life. He was a hard worker. When there was difficult things to do, it was always John that did it. He was left-handed and I'm right-handed, so whenever we had to carry things, it really worked well. Both had our strong arm working for us.
My brother, John, was a perfectionist, and so all he needed was a project. He was all his life involved in the workshop at his home, so he was familiar with lathes and saws.
Dad was a man of many talents, and he changed his hobbies all the time. He moved from dogs to fish to birds to plants, back to dogs to fish, photography, painting, carving, and then eventually horses. He loved the horses the most, I think, out of all his hobbies.
My dad would trailer his horses up north every weekend for decades so that we could ride the sandy trails among the red pine trees.
You know, he would often be talking about his horses.
It felt as though the world fell away as we explored together. We added ATV adventures between time spent with the horses.
The wilderness was something that both of us enjoyed doing.
We did a lot of ATV riding in Volter Township. We had such a good time, and I saw parts of the country that I probably wouldn't have ever seen had it not been my relationship with John. And I'll always remember him in that way. And there's some just great memories there.
We have a lot of fantastic memories. A lot of it to do with adventure, exploring the woods, and sharing his experience of love of the outdoors.
And we were working with the ATVs into the mountains and had a great time.
There was a dried up beaver meadow that was one of his favorite places to lead us to. And he knew that I liked to play around on the four-wheeler and have a good time. So he would say, "Oh, all right," he'd stop there and get off his bike and watch. He'd say, "Okay, you go ahead and play around in the mud. When you get yourself good and stuck, I'll pull you out." And he did. And it wouldn't take long for me to get the machine so buried that it'd take us a half hour or more to get it out. And sometimes we even had to tie two machines together to get it out. But it was a great time. We really, really enjoyed it.
And we spent countless hours in the bush. He loved to be out in the bush.
For many years, we did that spring, summer, and fall up at his farm in Powassan there.
He was at peace on his farm. He loved looking out over the land he had cleared and the pond he created. And he was fortunate to realize his dream of living full-time on the property in his retirement.
I believe that those were his best years to enjoy all the things that he had worked so hard to accomplish.
She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming around the mountain. She'll be coming around the mountain. She'll be coming around the mountain when she
We spent a lot of time building things. The barn, we're always fixing things.
Like he was just that type of person that was how to have things going on. Even though you don't think he liked to have people around, he really did. He had quite a few people. We even had missionaries come stay at our house at times.
John was a Christian. He believed in living a, moral life. So I respect him for that.
I learned so much from John about his beliefs in God and Christ.
Church work that really gave him satisfaction in life.
He also had a jail ministry. Every week he'd go to the jail and he plays guitar. He was a ham radio operator, and he would actually go out and see what the traffic was like and put it to the CD.
It was up and joked that Dad only realized he had a failing after I was born. He missed my birth because he was working out of town. When he came home, he quit his job, eventually started his own business so he would never have to work away from the family again.
It wasn't until Leslie was born they actually thought, oh, you have a failing and need to be home. So he stayed home and then got a job. He used to work in a nickel mine in Sudbury, and then he came back and pursued his electrical with Ainsworth, and then he went into his own Newcastle Electric Limited.
And became the first businessman in our family, establishing Newcastle Electric.
And on that farm he had a cow. With a moo moo here and a moo moo there. Here moo there, moo everywhere, moo moo on the farm. E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had a pig. E-I-E-I-O. Here and like point there. Here like there, like everywhere, like old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O.
He never entertained the idea of a word as failure. You never fail, just try it a different way. It didn't work, or try something different. You never say, oh, I failed it. It just never happened. You just figure it out. So that was always nice about him.
I needed some work, so I cleaned out his warehouse in Oshawa and had everything organized. Took me about 2 days, and I went back about 6 months later, and I think he just rearranged everything on purpose.
John was a lot of things, but he was no kind of cook. And when he wanted to feed you something, you were taking your life into your hands. And that's it.
Even years later, when he wasn't able to ride anymore, and he still had the place up north, he called me one day, said, Ashley, I'm not using that bike anymore. It's in pretty rough shape. How about you come and pick it up and see if you can get it going? You're about the only one that I know that could get it running again. And see if you can have your own adventures with your son.
He was very generous that way.
Joseph and I have continued the tradition that Uncle John set for us. We've had all kinds of phenomenal rides. Showed my son around just like Uncle John showed me.
And it was always great for me to just sit and listen to a lot of the stories he had involving his past as an electrician and as a father.
To my regret, I wish I had recorded his stories and memories of his own adventures.
I can't ask him. He's not here anymore. Like, just those little things that I'm going to truly miss. So rest in peace, Dad. I love you.
John was my father-in-law, but he was much more to me than not. He was my dad.
John lived a full life with no regrets. Rest in peace, John.
He will always be present because his impression on our lives will continue for generations. He was a quiet, generous man. We are better off for having known him. I love you, Dad. Thank you for always being there for me. I continue to feel your presence.
So I'm going to miss him, but he's had a good life, and as he said, he did everything he wanted to do.
Tom Jake.